guys wonder why toku is toku and there is any American examples of tokunism in America instead of just being a Japanese only thing? Today we're going to talk about one of the few exceptions, a studio that used to be great, still does stuff to this day, but ended after a certain dinosaur movie change and got the start from a certain Star Wars thing. And yes, I'm talking about Studio Light Magic, kinda, on today on Hobby Toku Anime. Hey everyone, Kodozi comments. Doing another edition of Hobby Toku Anime, where today we're going to talk about freaking Star Wars and is it toku? Well, I sort of done this with Doctor Who, but now we're doing Star Wars, which is more of the series' namesake comes in because I did try a Doctor Who one a few months back, but that didn't really work or other things. But we're talking about Star Wars, one of the greatest sci-fi American movies of all time. And today we're going to explain the studio behind it and if it's toku worthy. Let's begin. For a quick summary, toku is anything, in my opinion, toku films are usually stop motion with monsters, but with Godzilla, really a suit design, which is not the toku element that Dr. Light and Magic is known for. No, it's scaling. Scaling is another part of toku. The suit designs, the suit outfits are one element, but the scale models are important for scaling for, let's say, a building or another object to show you how big it is. And Star Wars, the original movies, in fact, have that element with a lot of things like the Death Star battles and a lot of the space stuff. And due to that, it is toku, kind of, but let's talk about the evolution of freaking Studio Light and Magic now. Okay, Studio Light and Magic is a studio that basically was made for the sake of there were not really good special effect budgeting at the time. This was 1970, late mid-70s. At the time, no studio didn't really want to do effect films, and in America, there were no studios until Studio Light and Magic started with a little movie we all know as Star Wars. Sorry, I don't want to get demonetized, but that's the thing I can do. But the point is, Star Wars is one of the most important films because it uses special effects in a country that doesn't use special effects at the time. It became a big hit. Then it started a studio. Really, the next movie would be Star Wars Empire Strikes Back or Episode 5. Yes, Episode 5 was second. And after that, their first non-Star Wars thing was a movie called Indiana Jones. This movie is kind of good. The effect elements for this movie are mostly at the end with the don't look at it scene where basically this effect is basically you can't see the person like I'm doing with my face as a joke. But anyhow, the point is close your eyes because you don't want to get your face melted scene. I love that scene. That's one of the best effects of the movie, of good early years effects. Other movies include Ghostbusters, and Ghostbusters being the first time they did large scale in the normal way of large scale, and a few other movies. But let's talk about something that kind of makes Studio Light Magic kind of like Tron was good CGI. Yes. CGI ain't toku, which I might do a rant on freaking Jar Jar, but that's not until later. But the point is, studio CGI kind of destroyed the fabric of studio making. Not yet, but later. Tron was okay because it was used correctly. It was more of a cutaway effect that kind of doing it. Next up, a little old movie called Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters did giant size, which I said earlier, and the effects are great, but that's not the point. Next up is young Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes in the 20. Oh, yeah, sorry, I like Sherlock Holmes 22nd century. So I'm sorry. But anyhow, freaking God. All right. Oh, man, the witness note. Meanwhile, hello, my name is freaking. You know what? Let's not do that part. I'm sorry. Just erase that knock effect from a cutaway because I accidentally. Now we're getting back. Okay. Sorry, reality got fuck off screen. Sorry. But anyhow, the point is, Young Sherlock Holmes is a movie that basically is about a freaking Sherlock Holmes as a young man. This movie's sort of good, but the first CGI effect they did, and the first real CGI effect, was in a scene where you see a guy getting murdered by a stained glass man. Yes, that effect is one of the first CGI effects. A thing that will harm freaking Studio Light and Magic when we get to a certain dinosaur film. But anyhow, okay. Before we get to that, there is another effect movie they did called Willow. Willow was a knockoff of freaking Lord of the Rings before Lord of the Rings wasn't really official. But anyhow, point is freaking started an effect called the morphing effect, where you have a picture and you basically have the picture dissolved or photoshopped to basically turn this photo into that photo. Okay, that example wasn't good, but anyhow, that's best way I can explain it is changing the suit to another suit by a dissolve, which is called morphing. This effect was the movie's first big thing. Next up is Terminator 2. Yes, Terminator 1 wasn't sort of done by Studio Line Magic, but there was an importancy with that movie. Sorry, the inner robot part kind of signed with Studio Line Magic, but anyhow, with Terminator 2, they made the first good CGI design, the freaking T-1000, played by Robert Patrick. Patrick! Sorry, that was a SpongeBob cutaway. But anyhow, the point is, Robert Patrick's the character of T-1000 is one of the most important effects in movies. Because it was time when CGI gets good. And when it does CGI get normal good, being mistaken, we come to the end of this video because CGI Magic is not really toku early on, but with CGI, it becomes not toku, if that makes any sense. So we're ending this video off with a certain dinosaur movie that started a good franchise, and the newer movies kind of are awful, but okay. We're not realizing what to do with the cloning, with the dinosaurs, and that is Dressler. Yeah, basically this movie is the last time they used puppetry correctly in Studio Light and Magic officially in a hit movie, because after this it became all CGI. Because CGI in Jurassic Park was groundbreaking. It was very important in their career, and after that, Studio Light and Magic basically not became toku. So now you know why toku is freaking Studio Light and Magic toku. I say yes for scaling, but with other stuff, not really. So it's the scaling part of it is toku, but when we get to CGI stuff, it doesn't become toku. If that makes any sense. Got that? Good. Hope you liked the video and leave a comment down below if you liked any of those movies or any of them. I've seen mostly every movie from Studio Light Magic, example with young Sherlock Holmes, because that's kind of niche for me. Sorry about that. This is coming saying bye-bye for now.